Welcome to the second episode of the Alone Short podcast. Well, it's actually the third, but the third is not up yet, so let's call it the second. The reason why it's short because I cannot upload long videos, and the reason why it's a podcast because it's unedited and unscripted, and the reason why it's alone because I am alone. Our subject for today, and it only makes sense to talk about Ramadan as it's about to start, or maybe when you see this video, it's just got started. So such a blessed month, right? We are blessed, we're grateful that we're living to see another month, right? We're breathing, we're hearing, we're seeing, and all of these are gifts from God to us, and we must be grateful for them. It's a great month that comes with blessings, that comes with its own fortune, and we must be very grateful for. So, I'd like to talk about fasting as well, as one of the most interesting phenomena and experiences that humans can go through is fasting. Is that you cut one of your primary needs for a certain period of time, and that's for your own benefits. It teaches us how we should control ourselves, how we should control our desires, how we should control our emotions. And it's not only about food, it's not only about water, it's also all of the other things, right? It's some sort of, the modern world call it dopamine detox, but on the extreme level, right? Because even food gives us some sort of dopamine. Sometimes you don't feel that good. You just need some sort of sugar. You just need some sort of food. And then you're feeling energized again. And yes, it can go to, some energy problems. Or it can go also as dopamine, right? You have eaten something that is sweet, that is good. So your body feels good. And you have dopamine in your body, so you feel happy. Such an interesting way, right? And once you see all of the modern world right now talking about how you should do dopamine detox, right? You should cut off social media, you should cut off this, you should cut off that. Well, this is an extreme version, and it's not only for a few days, it's not only for 24 hours, it's not for a YouTube video, it's not for 7 days, it's for 1 month. And yes, it's very great, and you see people are doing this for at least 1400 years now. So 1400 years now, at least, right? People are fasting and are having this month where they don't eat food in this month, right? Of course, if you don't know what fasting is, it's from dawn to sunset, so it's not the entire day. But most of the day, right? It's a good chunk of the day. So it's very interesting. So once you see the dopamine detox and people talking about the benefits of dopamine detox, when you see Ramadan as an extreme version of dopamine detox, then it has even an extreme results of dopamine detox. Alright, dopamine detox resets your dopamine levels, reset your happiness, you reset your focus span, your attention span, all of those good benefits that you can find them anywhere on YouTube. You get those easily with Ramadan, right? And you get even more. However, I think that the interesting part, as I said, is Ramadan is not only fasting from food and drinks, but also fasting from all of the other things, right? And each one of them is a source of dopamine as well. So it's very interesting. This is a very interesting fact. So we must be grateful for Ramadan, right? So let's proceed with this even further more. So once you look at everyone who's doing dopamine detox now in the modern world, they always talk about how you should not do it more than 7 days, right? Because you don't use social media, you don't use your phone, you don't do all of the things that you find fun and gets your dopamine levels a little bit high for about a week, and then you're exhausted. And yes, dopamine levels gets reset and there's no point to do it more. While Ramadan is doing it for a month. So are they wrong, or what's the problem here? I think the thing is that Ramadan is dopamine detox. However, we have that part of food and drinks that you can drink and eat food after sunset to dawn. So that period some sort of gives you the energy that you need, gives you your needs to survive. And we can talk about this. We can talk about this for at least few hours, right? Just that period alone, right? And you kind of like reset every single day instead of doing it for a week, then going back to your old habits. And yes, you have uploaded a YouTube video to tell people that dopamine detox has changed your life, while at that moment you have just went back to your regular life. So it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense to do that. While Ramadan, on the other hand, yes, it does make sense. So every day is a new reset. Every day is a new opportunity for you to do dopamine detox without getting exhausted, right? Without getting exhausted. And always it feels good. So dopamine detox, the reason why it feels some sort of empty is that there is nothing. Yes, you don't use social media for a week. Good. Then what? You use social media. So what's the point? Why did you do it at the first place? It doesn't even give you happiness. It doesn't even give you anything. Just continue. Don't use social media forever, and nothing should change, right? While on the other hand, you cutting food, you cutting beverages and drinks, you cutting water. Once you eat at the sunset, once you eat, your dopamine levels gets rising up. So yes, you feel some sort of happiness. You have eaten and you have struggled. You have gone through difficulties and you have survived that day, and now you have the privilege of eating. And at that moment, you become grateful and content for the smallest of things, such as eating, right? You're eating all the time, but you're not grateful for the food you're eating. Fast, then you become grateful for it. On the other hand, dopamine detox, you don't use social media for a week. Does this mean that you become grateful for social media? Maybe yes, if you use it for learning purposes, which is very rare, right? It's just another excuse to use social media. There is a less than 1% chance that yes, it's actually should be grateful for social media, right? Of course, you should be grateful for social media because it's technology. It's made the world a better place. It's made the world even closer. It's made a lot of things easier, and right, there is a lot of good content on social media. There is a lot of good sources on social media. However, on a larger scale, it might not be the best of things, but let's leave that to another thing. So that's the thing, is that you become grateful for things that you have had all the time, but you are not grateful for. While dopamine detox, it's not the same. You're not grateful for anything. You'll never be grateful for social media because it's screwing your dopamine levels, your attention span, your even the pictures that you have about yourself, right? You go through social media. Let's not name an app, right? Let's not name an app. You go through social media, you see people living the best of their lives, right? Driving all of the cars, being happy all the time, smiling, wearing the good clothes. It feels like some sort of great happiness. And you look at your life and you're like, yeah, there's a huge difference. I don't have any of the things that they have, and you feel sad. You feel like you don't have enough. You become ungrateful for what you have, and it can screw your mental health as well, right? Whether from the exaggeration of emotions that we have through scrolling through social media and all of that, which is another subject of its own, or just simply by wasting time instead of doing something useful. And I understand that everyone knows this at this point, right? We lived with social media for about a decade now, so it should be enough a period for everyone on earth to understand what is the meaning of social media. What does it do? What does it not do? Is it beneficial? Is it not? Right? So the average man use social media for about 4 hours, right? So if social media really upgrades someone's life, everyone on earth should be upgraded their lives, and it seems not to be the case. So my camera battery just ended and I had to change the device. The quality might be a little bit different, however, if Allah wills, it will be good. So as I said, there is a lot of differences between dopamine detox and Ramadan, right? Fasting is totally different. So you see all of these new modern diets that includes fasting, right? And ask yourself why there is fasting. There's a lot of types of fasting. If you have never heard this before, is that there is a lot of types of fasting. One of them is cutting food and drinks from dawn to sunset, which is Ramadan. If you know Ramadan, that's exactly fasting. There is another types of fasting that, as an example, you can drink water. The timing is a little bit different, but it's not religious. It's not Ramadan, right? It's just another, maybe it's like a diet, or maybe it's from another cultures or another regions, or perhaps another religions. I'm not very sure about it. So it's interesting. So the idea of fasting is very worldly spreaded. So fasting is great. Fasting is better than dopamine detox, and fasting is great. And we should be thankful for our fasting because it helps us, whether we know it or not, whether we like it or not. It actually helps us, whether from our body, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, whether it's socially as well. So all of those aspects, right? And you can add spiritually as well, as it's one of the blessed months, right? If it's not the blessed month. And this is the thing, is that I actually enjoyed making this video. It's, as I said, it's the Alone Short podcast. It's unscripted and unedited. I didn't think about what I'm going to talk about today. I just made the set and I said, hey, it just makes sense to talk about Ramadan because it's the event of the day. And yes, we say Alhamdulillah for everything. And I hope you have a blessed month. I hope you have a blessed Ramadan. And always focus on your mastery, my dear friend, even in Ramadan. And see you in the next one.